it's a WordPress super theme and welcome to the vlog, everybody. Today I want to talk about WordPress super themes. I want to do two things and I want to try and keep this as short and precise as possible. It's tough, it's a big topic, but anyway. First, what is a WordPress super theme? I'm going to try and explain that. Secondly, is it a viable concept? Is it one that's already in use, in fact? Or if not, what are the obstacles to it becoming reality? That's what I want to talk about. Okay. Let's get to it. I'm going to jump across different websites, look at different things, so bear with me on the ride. So what's a WordPress super theme? In order to answer that, I can only work with what we have, with what we know about WordPress today. And I just want to highlight two dominant models for the development and distribution of themes, because from those models we can then derive excuse me, the super theme model. What are those two models? The first one is the niche/diversification model, for want of a better word, and I'm here on the WordPress section of Theme Forest. Now I want to look at the categories because that's what's giving the model away. Categories are hugely important things. Not only do they organize data, but more importantly, they prescribe a model for something. So if you have the category blog, magazine, for example, there are all sorts of expectations at work in the name of that category. And any new developer coming to the WordPress landscape, to the WordPress business, is going to have to fit into one of those categories in one way or another. So categories are good for organization, but they are also restrictive things. All right, they delineate a field. Let's look at some of the categories being used to narrow down the field of WordPress theme developments and to restrict the forms of WordPress themes. And in the Theme Forest case, we've got quite a few. We've got blog/magazine, creative, corporate, retail, technology, non-profit, entertainment, mobile, frameworks, BuddyPress, e-commerce. Let's just jump to Woo themes and go through this. What are they doing? They've got apps, business, free, magazine, multimedia, portfolio, responsive, Tumblr, WooCommerce. Patterns emerging here, people. Themify.me, we've got blog, portfolio, free, post formats, responsive, restaurant, corporate, multimedia, magazine, blah, blah, blah. And finally, reducing this to the bare minimum, we've got WP Zoom. They've gone with business, magazine/news, portfolio, and multimedia. I think these four pretty much sum up the dominant clusters or groupings of themes, the dominant categories, right? So this is the one model, the diversification/niche model. Each theme being produced for this model is to some extent having to fit within one of these categories. So it's being designed from the perspective or with the expectation that the customer base, the audience, wants this type of approach, is going to buy into this type of approach, whether it's a magazine, a corporate theme, or whatever it is, and will recognize the signs of that category as signs that fit their needs, right? So what is the alternative model? Well, the alternative model is not diversification, it is kind of monopoly. It is the one-stop shop model. And we see that at work, for example, with Ultimate, the WordPress Ultimate theme, with Headway themes, and probably the most well-known is DIY Themes' Thesis theme. It's a huge theme, made a big impact. And what do these themes have in common? They are sorts of basic canvas. They're like a canvas on which you build. They offer you building blocks, and you can place the building blocks in a way to create your own theme, okay? So it's a different model. It's a one-stop shop model. It tries to cater to the widest possible audience. The niche model the themes in the niche model, in the diversification model, tend to be more stylized, more aesthetically developed, advanced, whereas the one-stop shop model tends to be bare bones. It's a canvas, right? So those are two different aesthetic categories at work. The super theme sits or incorporates or integrates both of those basic models into one. So that is to say, on the one hand, it provides the core, and I think we can go to WP Zoom for this, the core niche categories. It provides all of them in one. And what we're dealing with here, with these, by the way, with these niche categories, is this kind of structure. Let's look at this diagram. It's very useful, and it will make things very clear, I think. With most WordPress themes, we've got core or staple elements in use, right? We've got a header, a navigation bar, and a footer. I mean, those are basic things you'll find across pretty much most themes. What changes, what defines the category of a theme, here, all these categories, is the main content, the way in which the main content is organized, the features provided within the main content, and that's what defines it. So here you can see a single column layout, double column, triple column, right? But on top of that, there are all sorts of other things. Widgets can go in there, sliders, different media elements, and so on. So not only does the super theme integrate into its design each one of those dominant styles or forms, and we see them again here: business, magazine / news, portfolio, multimedia. So the super theme would include all those. On top of that, it would include an array of options. It would allow, within those core organizational elements or forms that it houses within its theme, it would allow you to then build even more on top of that, right? And so you end up with a theme that really does try to cater to everything, but it's still a theme that is aesthetically specific, that it's specific to the designer, the vision or imagination or creative impulse of whichever designer it is. Their mark is on that theme, and that identity with the design is very important for these niche themes. It's less important for Headway and for these one-stop shop themes. It's more important for the niche themes. People buy into designer identity, right? And so that would be still a dominant trait within the super theme. Now why? Okay, so that's in the blink of an eye what I'm getting at with the idea of the super theme. There's one more thing I must not forget to say about the super theme, and it's fundamental. Those are the building blocks, the elements, you know, underneath the hood, if you like, of the super theme. But what's also important and fundamental, and what makes it different from the one-stop shop model, is that the super theme would be very much marketed for the different things it incorporates, the different models and the way those models perform. It would market each of those within its general marketing proposal, right? And so it would be a question ultimately of how many different types it does, of how well those niche types perform, and so on. That's also very important. So that's what I mean by a super theme. Now, why would a super theme be viable as a concept? Why would it come into being if it isn't already? The main reason for this is to do with the market, the WordPress landscape as it is. We know that WordPress theme developers are increasing. We know that more themes are being produced. We know recently, for example, we've seen the launch of Theme Furnace, a new theme development company. We've seen the launch of Themezilla. We see templates being produced every day on marketplaces like ThemeForest and so on. What does this mean? What does this do? Well, there's an increase in competition. So the increase in competition obviously drives people within the market, producers in the market, to become more competitive. And what does it mean to become more competitive? Well, one of the things it means is to offer more options, is to do more. It's to say, come and look at my theme. My theme's got it all. I've got what you need. Not that theme, not that company. Don't look at them, look at me. So how do you grab attention? Well, you've got to do that. You've got to do new stuff. You've got to innovate, but you've also got to integrate what's existing and what's out there. And sooner or later, customers are not stupid, far from it. Customers will start to recognize those companies that really are pulling their weight in this increasingly tight market, and not just the companies developing gimmicks or selling snake oil type ideas, but really those companies going the full 9 yards, creating super themes. And I think we're going to see over the year or so ahead the rise of a super theme type model. Companies that are being born to create these massive kind of behemoth, mammoth type themes, really stylized, really focused, producing really good, strong themes that are usable. but producing fewer of them than their niche competitors. Where niche developers tend to produce many themes, the super theme model will be about producing 1 or 2 themes, per quarter, something like that, maybe even less, but selling them at a higher price, and the price will be justified if the work goes into it, and so on. And that's what I wanted to talk about. I hope that's kind of clear. I know there are a lot of things at play here that I've missed out, that I've had to skip over. I've simplified this a whole lot, perhaps too much for my liking, but hopefully the core element is there. Let me know what you think. What do you think? Do you think super themes are already there? Are you using a super theme yourself? Do you think this is a viable concept, or is this just codswallop, I suppose is the word? Let me know in the comments section. Thanks for watching as always, and catch you next time. Bye bye.